three-toed sloth.
You know, there's people that believe that we were apes. There's a theory of evolution called the aquatic ape theory, which says that we were apes that got underwater. Like that we were apes that were on an island, and we had to start swimming, and that's how.
Ooh.
If you take an ape and you make him swim for thousands of years, he'll start to have no fur, and it straightens your back. Your back straightened out through not walking but through swimming. And that's what made us smarter. It made us smarter. It made our snouts turn into noses because they're better for swimming.
Yeah.
And that some of us kept going and became dolphins, and that the rest of us are humans.
Too lazy. We're like,
yeah, and we
stop right
that's
here.
Good enough for me.
I'm just gonna stop here.
Yeah,
This is good.
Exactly.
I like that.
And we came back to Earth, so that just happened. There weren't the apes that stood there and went, "This isn't right."
We're so pompous.
I want to still be an ape.
Humans want to last forever, and
no, we're not going to.
And of course, I would love to see humans last forever. But yeah, it's not in the cards.
No, it's not.
We're pompous. It's not, and it's going to be something so ridiculous that takes out, our humans.
Yeah, it's going to be like a bee or something. It's going to be some kind of bee.
Yeah. So the last person's going to be like, "Wow, who saw this?" As the end.
Like, I love Pot Talk Monday.
It is Pot Talk Monday.
Love Pot Talk Monday.
It's going to be some kind of space dust that was just happened to be on an astronaut's sleeve that they forgot about. Just some dumb thing
Andromeda strain
that just wipes everybody out.
Yep.
And no one saw it coming.
I think it's going to be one bee, like one specific bee.
Just like have some super sting, and
just
it's lethal in 100% of the cases.
Yeah. No, and it makes sense that, look, I have kids. I want them, like, when I leave a hotel room, I turn off the air conditioning.
Ooh.
Whatever. I do what I have to do.
I leave the air conditioning on and open the doors in the Bahamas. Like a sliding glass doors blowing 95-degree humid air in, and I got the air conditioning blasting, the TV's on.
Yeah, you got weather fronts.
Oh, I don't care.
Your room.
I don't care.
No, I don't. I do what I can because of my kids, but at some point we're gonna be the last generation of humans. Somebody's gonna be the last one.
Someone's gonna be the last,
and it's not our fault. We're just dumb animals. Some generation should decide to be the last one and neuter themselves and just have one last generation where everybody just drinks and has sex
and uses all the oil they can,
everything,
just drives gas guzzlers,
and then just dies.
They drive on the highway in that vehicle that pulls the space shuttle out of the building.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Just drive around it.
That's what you drive to work in.
After you get past the fact that you're the last generation, that after you, the Earth is going to be awfully strange, whatever. You could have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you sure can.
You can have a lot of fun.
Astronauts take the space shuttle and just go out.
Yeah, just leave.
Turn into skeletons somewhere.
Yeah, who cares? Just unprotected sex with anybody.
Yes.
Oh, it's great stuff.
Walk around with guns.
Unlock the prisons. Yeah. Let them all out. Yeah. Who cares?
That's why I think it's creepy that we're animals.
Yeah.
But there's no second place.
There's no vice animal.
That's what creeps me out.
We don't have the vice president of humans.
We've had this discussion many times. That creeps me out. It's like, why isn't there someone in second place just kind of waiting for us to F up?
That we look at
you're looking at it wrong, because you're picturing an animal doing like kind
of a retarded human.
You're
second place,
like an elephant in a suit. And
but
now
dude,
now he owns a baseball.
That's
team.
what we
an elephant in a suit.
But Louis, that's what we joke about. We're like, why aren't you taking a bus with I don't know, a squirrel or some other.
Right.
Life
because
form.
That's how we roll. But bugs are actually they have more run of the joint than we do.
Right. This place would look totally different, too, after a few years of no humans being around to maintain the roads and the buildings. This place would just look like a vined, overgrown mess that some other animal would just
take long.
No,
we're living on.
But doesn't it creep you out that there's nobody even near us as far as a massive drop-off?
We're actually...
massive drop-off.
Well, that's only if you measure us as the apex. That's
but all the other animals...
And say we're getting the most
but Louis, all the other animals kind of live together, and they're kind of
and they're doing
similar,
fine.
and we are the only ones that do not belong on this earth.
Well, this is how we survive.
Yeah, we're a little weird.
We were weak animals, so we built these. We have all right.
So why aren't
shelters and huts are just weird? They're huge and metal.
Why aren't the dolphins building stuff?
Because they don't need to. Because they survive.
Why hasn't one other animal built something that is like almost similar to what we do.
Even
But
close.
that's like an
even
lion.
even the apes.
You don't even see one animal using something to get themselves around.
Well,
Like a primitive bike or something.
primitive
That means
bike.
they're going to see a monkey just driving a bike that
something.
came from like Gilligan's Island.
I think we come from somewhere else, and that's why.
do you think so?
Yep. I think
Yeah,
we
he's a
come
very strong believer in that.
I think we just landed
Brought here, dropped off, never
Whatever.
belonged
If
here in
you
the
really,
first place.
if you start with an ape before they were us, and
Yeah.
you just he just starts figuring stuff out little by little, you just get here. This isn't to me.
But no other animals getting there.
Deal.
No other animals getting there.
That's not their way that they survive. Their populations are doing fine without all this shit.
But they're all still. But they're all just kind of living in harmony with each other, just kind of using the basic.
well, not they eat each other, and
But yeah, but they're using just the basic stuff. They're not really making anything that impressive with the basic raw materials. We got nuclear power plants. We got space shuttles way up there.
we harness the power of the atom.
Yeah, what are the
Zebras
giraffes doing?
Zebras
They're
aren't
doing
looking
nothing.
Zebras aren't looking at us going, God, I wish I had a. I wish I had a Bentley.
But doesn't that make you think that? They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything.
There isn't one other animal out there doing anything.
Every once in a while, an animal will make a pile of dirt.
We're amazed when a monkey takes a stick and puts it in a termite hole and
Right.
pulls it out.
That's
he used a stick.
That's what creeps me out. There's no one even, no other animal out there is even close to us.
Nobody has.
Like you could have
nobody has a Barbie lunchbox. Nobody has.
No.
nothing.
Nobody has a
There's
Wii.
not
Nobody has
one
a Wii.
wallaby
Dude.
that is doing a morning radio show today.
Dude, we're building like
There's not one hyena who has a Wii.
Oh, we playing the
Who
Wii.
can play Halo.
I'm sure animals, some would probably love playing the
Look.
Wii.
look at all the buildings outside. What is the rest of these animals doing? Nothing.
They're walking
A pile
around
of
eating
dirt
each
here
other
and there.
and sleeping
Yeah.
in a cave. They're doing fine.
Ope makes a good point on this one, Louis. We kind of are a little odd to this planet.
It creeps me out that there's a massive drop off after us, and that's why I'm convinced we're just
I'll
not
tell you
from
what I
here
really
originally.
don't think is definitely what I think is definitely not the answer is that we're that God made us and made us special.
No, I don't buy that either.
I don't buy for a
Yeah,
second.
I don't buy that.
No.
The whole story behind it is too fantasy-like.
Yeah.
There has to be, I want records. I want parchment records. I want the schematic that he used. Something.
I would just
No, we're an unchecked mammal. That's all. We're overpopulating. It's just
all right. One out of
meets us.
all right. One out of
disease
all the
eats
animals out there. That's creepy. Know how many animals, different animals there are out there? Not one. If you put us on a graph like what we've done and what everybody else does, they're all way down here. One's a little better than the other.
We have medicine. No other animal uses that. If any other animal gets sick or injured, they're dead.
That's right.
They're dead. We came up with medicine. I mean, like Ope says, give me a close or even a distant second place animal.
Well, who's in second place? Seriously, humans.
Who's in second?
And then who's?
Well, again,
I'd say
People would argue
I'd say the
dolphins
gorilla.
or gorillas.
in technology and
Chimpanzee.
in literature and technology, I think we're definitely a far first.
Literature.
Yeah.
Our first is not even another.
But as far as
there's
taking
not even
care
another
of
animal that can read a word.
But as far as taking care of ourselves and being healthy and sustaining as a species, we're not that much better than the other ones. The other ones are keeping their numbers fine, and they're probably more stable. They
Yeah.
probably don't get the same diseases we do. Most of they just die of old age, a lot of those animals. They don't,
Or something else ripping its throat out.
yeah, exactly.
Now, one
I
other.
don't think there's a big problem with breast cancer among the raccoons. You know what I mean? I don't think that, I don't know, I could be wrong.
Not one other animal
You're right.
goes to school, goes to work.
That's right.
Nothing.
But I don't
based
think
on
any, I don't think any
instinct and-
hippos have diabetes and, are
And they're
nearsighted.
overweight.
We don't even know how many. There's probably like a planet 10 feet away from Earth full of people that are like, look how dumb these things. Just look over here, ass. Jerk offs.
We got a submarine that almost went far enough to discover a whole nother civilization.
Yeah.
And the people were in a panic as they see this thing slowly, going
like they
down.
almost- good, they're going back up.
They're going back up. They got
Yeah.
scared by those glow-in-the-dark fishes. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
No, we have no idea.
Why do you say
ants are even smarter than bees? They have an amazing society.
Yeah.
There's one detail about what ants do. They keep cattle. They're called aphids.
Yeah,
Ants
they
take
milk
aphids,
them.
which is a smaller bug, and they take them. They catch them. They bring them down into their homes, and they keep them in the coolest part, like the nicest part,
The refrigerator.
Yeah, and they put them they put them along the walls of their where they live, and they milk them. They actually squeeze their nipples and get milk out of them and feed aphid milk to their young. And they keep them.
That's amazing.
They feed their aphids very carefully, and they have food specifically for them.
All right, they're getting ready to take over.
It's
That's
pretty
creepy.
good. It's pretty good.
But
what ants can do, and also
Do they have ant TV though?
but they communicate really well. They do when you see an ant trail from food to a hole.
Yeah.
That the way that got started is an amazing.
I
mean, the way that they just spray out in all directions.
Rub the antenna.
The antenna.
They got like a scout that goes out, and then he comes back and tells the other guys, and then the other guys.
He'll eat a little bit of the food, but he'll take some back with him and put it into the mouth of the other, and they
Louis,
feed each other.
Yeah.
That ant trail thing is really creepy.
Yeah.
Last time I was on vacation, I was down in Turks and Caicos, and I almost cut the tip of my finger off just slicing into a pineapple. And it just starts bleeding like crazy, a puddle of blood outside my room on the balcony, right? And I'm just staring at the blood on the floor. Within seconds, there was a line of ants coming up the wall, over the rail, and down toward the blood.
Drinking it up.
That's how quickly they told each other. That's how quick, and they don't smell it. It's just that one randomized ant scout found it, and that's how quickly he was able to tell his whole colony.
They're able to know where it is.
Bringing your blood, and now your DNA has fed, like your blood was fed to an aphid, whose milk fed the young of the ants. Nice. So there's like little ants with your face on them running around.
Maybe I'm their god.
Yeah, probably.
You know what? I like your thinking about the ant being second in line, but I don't know. I personally can kill 1 billion ants in minutes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But
there's way more than
we're going to be killed by some asteroid. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the same. We're just as fragile.
And you're talking about numbers.
Do you think the ant tries to come up with a defense against the human foot, like we would the asteroid?
That's the thing.
We talk about we could shoot nuclear missiles at it, or do this, or we'll send a drill team up and put a bomb in there, or whatever the hell movie you come up with. That's why they're better,
because they're just like,
the foot comes, it comes. What are we gonna do?
Exactly.
The big foot.
When the foot.
And how organized are they? All you have to do is knock over a little anthill, and you see how unorganized they are.
When they start running around all crazy,
they start running around like.
Yeah, well, that's what it looks like to you, but they're already rebuilding.
Yeah, they line it back up.
They line it back. If you come back a couple of minutes later, it's back up. None of this 9/11, what are we going to call it? Is there a spire? Should we build a park?
You know what?
There's no Mayor Bloomberg ants going, I just think we need to rebuild. They just start rebuilding.
They just start doing it.
If
it was up to the ants, we'd have those towers built already.
No red tape.
No ants. There's no, like, red state ants and blue state ants.
Right, they just do it.
No, there's no Gingrich ants.
I love Pot Talk Monday. I love it.
There's no, there's no black ants with weird hair complaining that some ants, that they're red ants. Or...
And you talk about knocking over an anthill and they just go nuts, like New Orleans.
Yeah,
with the hurricane there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same thing.
There's no ants flying over the.
But if aliens,
after the foot comes,
aliens
fly over
and assess the damage.
But if aliens were looking at it from above, they're like, look at these stupid humans. They don't know what they're doing. But, this hurricane knocked their city apart, and look, they're running around like crazy.
But
we were organizing. It took a while.
Just gave all the money to Halliburton. We're not doing anything for those people. Are you kidding? New Orleans is gone. It's full. It just Halliburton squeezed it for whatever was left, and that was the end of it.
It was time for another city to move up.
Yeah, again, that's what I feel.
Yeah.
So what?
It's Rochester's turn.
Yeah.
It's just Rochester's turn.
That's right.
They've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
Let's go to Joe in Queens. Joe.
Yeah, there is no animal on Earth anywhere near us, and I can prove it with one word. Veterinarians. We got to help them when they're sick and injured. Let's see a dog or a monkey operate on a person.
Yeah, why aren't they helping themselves and figuring out how to make each other better?
They don't have.
Thank you, Joe. You're right.
But we only help them because we use them. And have them as pets.
True.
They're just supposed to die when they get
Joe
sick.
makes a great point, though. Why aren't they figuring this crap
make a great
out?
point.
I'm sure a dog would like to live a little longer instead of sitting there and die of some whacked out.
No, it wouldn't.
How do you know?
Because they don't mind dying. They just lay down and die.
They're not scared of dying?
I don't think so.
I think that old dog that's like got the hip dysplasia
don't wanna live
and
longer.
arthritis. He's sitting there going like,
Yeah, he's got like somebody put a fake valve in his heart, and he's like, dude, let me go.
I just want to
stinks.
die.
I haven't taken a hard dump in 2 years. Let me go.
So when you see like a little doggy walking around with like training wheels for his back leg, you think
no, he was supposed to die.
he really doesn't want that?
He was supposed to
He really
die.
doesn't want that?
No.
Nah.
We are really asses.
He was. The thing is that if he lived, the problem is that he lives in the streets where he would like starve slowly. If he was a dog in the wild with no legs, he'd just get torn apart.
Oh,
and eaten.
yeah.
And his mother would eat him.
Immediately.
His mom
right
would
out of the
eat him.
womb.
Yeah.
She'd be
She'd go,
licking
a
off the
snack.
placenta and just go, what is it? Oh, okay.
Oh, I got 3 puppies and a snack.
Feed it to the rest of them, right?
what?
Snack.
Again.
Like them in Planet of the Apes. Mm-hmm. The fact that they call the apes ran the town and they called it Ape City.
Yeah.
Like even they're acknowledging in that way that isn't this crazy?
That it's like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Look, it's Ape City.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
We don't call our country like Man America because we think it's weird that men are involved. Ape law.
Ape law.
Ape law.
Oh, see, it's wild. It's law, but it's ape law. We even see it's
We even
crazy.
think it's nuts. Look, we're monkeys. We're not supposed to be in charge. The one where they show how it happened, the conquest of the planet of the apes,
Yeah.
where they show how apes used to be pets and servants.
Yeah.
It seems like the whole world revolved around ape problems. Like humans aren't any longer doing just regular jobs. They're just
it's
dealing
all
with
apes.
Like
and
in this
the problems that having apes doing these jobs,
it's
like they drop
ape
something.
trouble in Sector 3. Ape trouble in Sector 3. Constant
trouble than it's
announcements.
worth.
It's just constant. And these jackbooted cops that are just about ape control.
Just to take care of the apes.
Disperse apes on Sector 4. Disperse apes. Like nobody's running a computer company or like listening to music. It's just constant ape management.
Theory.
You know that some people
I
say
heard
that,
from
the whole
Jurassic
thing
Park.
that Dick Cheney is a lizard.
Yeah.
That guy. That's your answer.
Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney is a changeling lizard. This is like a big. There are many people that believe this. Seriously, there's a big
That he is a lizard.
that he's part of these lizard people that can change into humans, but that he's a lizard, and that's who's taken over.
All right, that's kind of cool.
Already taken over.
Lizards.
There are people that believe this.
I'm telling you, it's a planet 10 feet away that's full of lizards.
10 feet. What do they
And
just
they're coming up-
camouflage
they put
themselves
on
really
human,
well?
It's already 30% of us are already these lizards that are right over there.
I love your theory that there might be a planet 10 feet
Well, I mean,
away.
we're just not
I
looking.
love it. I love
We're
it.
so blind because, like, we keep finding, there's another planet, and Pluto's not a planet. Like, there's one right there, and we just keep missing it. Like, every time people turn over and the planet just moves.
And we just don't have
Yeah.
the equipment to pick
we
up.
can't look at it.
We just can't look at it.
No, it's like the dark side of the moon. It's just right there. And people kind of take just a shuttle spaceship cab over occasionally.
Yeah.
These lizards, they dress like humans.
And
One
we're
of them-
we're too busy looking far, far away.
Yes.
So
It's
maybe
right under our
there's
nose.
already an animal that's getting ready to take
That's what I'm
over, and they
saying.
just decided to
Yes.
disguise themselves as us.
Yes. Black people.
Like it.
No. Jesus, the lizards.
Wow, lizard people.
I was avoiding that for the last hour, by the way, on instant feedback. I know what the second most,
Oh, Jesus.
and it was every race you can imagine. It's Opie and Anthony.
You can imagine.